Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 25 career mode here with Southampton. We're back today with the second part of the summer transfer window as we kick off season 5 of the save. In the previous episode we completed the signings of Eduardo Camavinga, Jayden Oosterwolde and Zambo Anguissa as we look to prepare the squad for the Champions League again this season. We managed to stick in the title race until the end of last campaign, but we fell away at the end, and I want to make sure this year we are well and truly in the race and competing right down to the wire. We had too many draws last year and we need to make sure we turn those into wins if we are to win the Premier League trophy this year. But we're going to be closing out the summer transfer window today and playing our first few games in the Premier League. We've been handed quite a nice start on paper, so we've got to make sure that we get off to a good start and fly out of the blocks as we have done in the last couple of seasons, but we've got to keep up that form for the whole of the campaign. But kicking off today after our win in the Community Shield at the end of the previous episode, we see a big bid for Omar Soleil. Manchester City, who fell short to Chelsea last year, looking to rebuild the squad to compete again, but so are we. That's exactly the same position that we are in, and Omar Soleil has been such a big part of this Southampton rebuild. And although it is Manchester City, we're not season 1 or season 2 Southampton anymore, where we feel we have to sell to the big boys, because we are one of the big boys in the Premier League now ourselves. So Soleil will be going nowhere. And you know what, guys, with just under £100 million to spend, I'm going to go straight in and make a signing to kick off today's episode. I've got lots of names on the shortlist. And as we discussed in the last episode, we're looking to upgrade on that left-hand side. As good as St. Maximin was last year, I do feel like we can do better. I'd love to bring in Nico Williams, but he only signed for Chelsea last year, helped them win the Premier League title, and we also don't have enough money for it. Bradley Barcola, we should have enough money for him if we wanted to bring him in. Won the Conference League with Bologna last year, but he is certainly good enough to be playing in the Champions League. We've got Rafael Leao with AC Milan. Again, we'd probably be a bit tight on money for Leao. And he's stayed faithful in Milano, won the Serie A with them last year. But I discussed in the last episode how we've done a lot of business with Newcastle. And I'm going shopping at St James's once again as we go after Anthony Gordon. He has really developed his game over the last couple of years, got himself into the England squad, and he's continued to develop in this save into a fantastic left midfielder in the Premier League. And if you kind of keep an eye on the stats of the save at the end of every season, when I show the goals and assists, he always seems to be one of the top players for goals and assists. And as an inside forward on that left hand side, he is perfect. He's quick, he's got great agility, the stamina's high as well, and technically really good stats. 87 finishing, 87 crossing, 86 ball control and 84 dribbling as well, 85 long shots and 83 shot power. He's got the finesse shot trait. I just think cutting in on that left hand side, he is the perfect upgrade for St Maximin. He's a very similar player, brings a goal threat as well, but just a slightly better version. So he's probably going to cost us around 70 to 85 million. But Anthony Gordon, he is the man I want to bring in on that left-hand side. I've still got Juan Larios that I'm trying to get rid of. So I'm actually going to go in with a bid of 60 million plus Larios because he's the last player on the transfer list. And they do want Larios, so that will help get him off the books. But that is a big chunk of change that Eddie Howe wants, plus the Spanish fullback. I'll go 66.5 plus the Spaniard, and they have come down to sort of meet us in the middle. So I'm going to go in at, we'll go 67.5. No, we'll go 68.5 plus Larios, which would bring the total fee to around £70 million. And I think that will be enough and it is. Eddie Howe, knowing that his side aren't in Europe anymore, cannot keep hold of his star players such as Camavinga and Gordon. So for a package deal of around £70 million, Anthony Gordon is in and signs a 5-year, quite expensive 150 grand a week contract, but it's the last piece of the puzzle in my opinion. He's in his peak at the moment at 27 years of age, and I think that is a brilliant pickup to replace a former Magpie himself, Saint Maximin, on that left hand side, who will drop to the bench. So he's in time, he's registered in time for our first league game of the season, and I think that is where we're going to head to as we take on Brighton away on the south coast at the Amex in a not a south coast derby. A nice way to kick off the campaign, and I'm looking for 3 points with our new signings of bedding in straight away. Need to get off to a winning start if we are to keep pace with the likes of Chelsea and Man City, Spurs and Liverpool, as I think we could be set for another really close title race this season. Come on, you Saints. So underway here on the south coast, and the sun is shining. We had a pretty horrendous game at Wembley to open the season up in the Community Shield, where it absolutely chucked it down and the conditions were horrible. But here at the Amex, the sun is shining, and I'm hoping that means that we're going to play well and get a good result to kick off the campaign, as Marcus Leonardo's just gone too early. Well, we've struggled to really get going in... Oh, go on, Kamaldeen Sulemana scoring on his Leicester debut. You love to see it. Yeah, we've struggled to get going so far today, and maybe the new signings just taking a bit of time to bed themselves into the team. But here is Camavinga, and we will have a free kick on the edge of the box. And I know that Stein can hit them, but Gordon's got some really good free kick stats, so it will be the new man. What a debut this would be. Anthony Gordon up and over the wall, and well caught by Trubin, who had to be careful not to carry it over the line. He hit that really well, Gordon, but the Ukrainian did well in between the sticks to keep it out. Closest either side has come. And now we just got our tails up slightly as Camavinga lets fly from range. And that is why you spend the big bucks to bring in big quality. Eduardo Camavinga on his debut leathers one into the top corner to give his new side the lead. Well, we had just started to up the pressure before that goal came, but it was an absolute thunderbolt from Eduardo Camavinga, and he's looked really confident out there. Just so good when he gets on the ball, and he's got a brilliant engine on him, getting forwards and doing the defensive work as part of a midfield too. There he is again, and Stein releasing Marcus Leonardo, and there is the second. And I feel like this could be our year for Southampton. The squad is looking fantastic. The starting 11's got even more quality, and if we can keep this man Marcus Leonardo fit, then we shouldn't have any problems putting the ball in the net. Stein to Leonardo, and you know the outcome. Well, that is going to do it here at the Amex. A comfortable win for the Saints, and laying down a marker on match day one of the new season. Marcus Leonardo and the new man Eduardo Camavinga with the goals. He was man of the match today, as he was absolutely everywhere. The Frenchman scored an absolute cracker as well, and it helps us pick up 3 points on match day one of the new season. The perfect start to season 5. Well, Spurs, Manchester City, Liverpool and Chelsea all winning on match day one. And you know what? I forgot to see who else came up last year. I can't even remember who was in the playoffs. I know it was Everton and... oh, it must have been the Borough. Middlesbrough back up in the top flight, and they got pumped 5-0 by Spurs on match day one. Not a great reintroduction to the top flight, but yeah, a good win on match day one. We've got Crystal Palace at home at St Mary's in our first home game of the new season, but we've got a lot of transfer bids here. Well, Kyle Walker-Peters, the captain, is going nowhere. So despite Chelsea being champions, he is staying put. 2 big bids for Omar Solé. one from Brentford, who still maybe have the Marcus Leonardo money, and Spurs also looking to mount a charge for the title, looking to bring in the Frenchman. But yeah, he's going nowhere. Neither is Kai Vaughan. And another interesting bid from Gavin Bazunu, wanted by Celtic of all clubs. But as I say, he's a really, really good number 2. The only thing I am considering is selling Gavin Bazunu and keeping Shane Malcolm as our cup keeper when he comes back in January to try and give him some first team football. But yeah, I'm honestly not too sure. I think for the time being, I'm just going to keep Gavin here. He's a great number 2. He doesn't moan about being number 2. And he's very, very solid at 80 overall. And a great start for the new man, Camavinga, making it into the Premier League Team of the Week alongside Sem Stein, Tino Livramento and Marcos Leonardo, as well as Aston Villa now coming in for Van Dijk. But I think, to be honest, we're just going to sim through to the next game of the season, taking on Crystal Palace at St Mary's, our first home game of the campaign, as we're looking to clinch another 3 points to set the early pace. Come on, you Saints. Yeah, underway in match day 2 of the season, and of course Crystal Palace beat us towards the end of the Premier League campaign at Selhurst Park. I think it was only one of 3 defeats that we suffered all season long in the Premier League. So yeah, not many teams can say that they managed to take 3 points off us last campaign, but Palace are one of those sides. As Yusuf lets fly, don't think he's scored for the club yet, nearly scoring from range. But of course we did defeat them at Wembley in the FA Cup semi-final, and if you remember back to that game, we made a tactical change in the second half as we went to a 4-4-2 due to the fact that Crystal Palace were playing 3 at the back. Something to consider today, but it's been a promising start as Stein going on and again forcing the save out of Paulo Gazzaniga. Back on his old stomping ground, the Argentine, a former Saint himself. Corner swung in. Yusuf gets up and it's off the woodwork as now Kudus hits one, and that's straight down the throat of Paulo Gazzaniga. And now Ian Martson can bring it forward for the Saints. Skips away from his man, and now it's Anthony Gordon, and there's Marcus Leonardo, stayed onside. Marcus Leonardo on the left foot. Well, you expect the back of the net to bulge when you get him into that position. Normally so clinical in front of goal, but it's just wide of the far post. Mateus França again, forward to the danger man and Burmo. And Burmo swings the cross in. Yusuf doesn't get there. It's loose, and Ketia on the spin, and that's a big save by Muric to deny him. And Kudus again into the middle for Marcus Leonardo, big save, and he can't win the header the second time around. A flurry of chances in the first 45, but still we remain deadlocked. And I'm making the change early, doing it at half time and bringing on Cameron Archer, going to 2 up top as we did in that FA Cup semi-final at Wembley last year. It worked for us on that day, and I'm hoping it will have the same effect today. I've done it early because we can't really afford to slip up in just match day 2. Need to make sure we get the win here as Stein gives us the lead, and instantly the change of shape works. Cameron Archer through to Sem Stein, and the substitute instantly making an impact. Oh, that's good play, and why are we so deep, boys? Space for Nketiah through the gap, and Burmo, it's one apiece. And that is the trouble of going to the 4-4-2. We took off Yusuf, the anchor man, and Brian and Burmo, who always nets against me, is on the score sheet again. It's a brilliant ball through, and Burmo, first time strike on the left foot, draws Crystal Palace level. Gordon skips away, and still Anthony Gordon, and there's Marcus Leonardo. So much space, and you can't give that to the Brazilian because he will punish you. Straight from kickoff, instant response, Saints in front, and it's the Brazilian again. Kudus, space to drive into. Evades the challenge of Maddison. And the second challenge as well. And now Stein into Gordon. Oh, and he's brought down. We'll have the free kick on the edge, but that was a dangerous position. Gordon had the last one against Brighton. This time it's going to be Sem Stein. And Stein... Oh, it's off the woodwork. Oh my goodness. Gordon went close against Brighton, but this time Stein took over. And his effort comes off the crossbar. Second time we've hit the bar with a free kick with Sem Stein. Same thing happened in the Champions League quarter-final here at St Mary's against City last year. Well, there is the whistle, and thank goodness for that, because Crystal Palace giving us a really tough game once again, but the change of shape did end up paying off for the Saints. We went to the 2 up top in the second half, and it ended up yielding us the result. No clean sheet for us today, so Muric concedes for the first time this season, but I don't care if he concedes in every game as long as we win. Marcus Leonardo with the winner as he makes it 2-2 in the Premier League. Well, back-to-back wins to kick off the campaign for ourselves, Liverpool, Man City, Spurs and also Leicester City. But it's the top 4 that you'd imagine will be involved in a title race, along with Chelsea looking to defend their crown. Well, there's an offer there for Kai Vaughan from Paris Saint-Germain. But to be honest, I'm really happy with the squad and how it looks as we head into our final game before the window slams shut, taking on Leeds United. Once again on the road as we travel to Ellen Road, and we'll look to make it 3 wins from 3 to kick off the campaign in August. I'm really happy with the squad and the start to the season, so I'm not sure we're even going to look to bring anyone else in. But let's make it 3 wins from 3. Come on, you Saints. Yeah, coming to take on Leeds here at Ellen Road, and they're a bit of a bogey team of mine. I always struggle against them, so yeah, expecting a tough game here, but really want to make it 3 wins from 3 to kick off the campaign. We dropped points here towards the end of last season in the run-in when we completely fell apart at the end of the season. So yeah, wanting to avenge our demons and put things right, as we're also coming up against a former player of ours, Ben Brereton Diaz, who departed in the summer. What a ball that is, but Marcus Leonardo can't get the power on the header. Well, we've not been great here today. Once again, the Ellen Road curse, but Kudus does bring the ball down this right-hand side. Still Mohamed Kudus, and he does win the corner. Anthony Gordon to come across to take. Gordon floats it in, looking for Yusuf. Darko heads away, and Camavinga will drill the shot in, and Camavinga again flying into the tackles. But I think that's going to do it for the first half as we look set to go into the break. Deadlocked at 0-0 once again. Well, it worked against Crystal Palace, so I am considering the change to 2 up top. I'm not going to make the move quite as early yet, but it is something I'm considering if we remain deadlocked. Well, I have just made the changes. I've done it same as in the previous game. But here's Brereton Diaz. And Muric forced into the stop there, as Leeds have had nothing all game, but forcing Muric into the save. And it does make us slightly more vulnerable at the back playing this system. And Leonardo to Martin. Flag stays down. And Marcus Leonardo blocked. Camavinga drills it in. And Israel makes the stop. Just trying to find this goal. I'm concentrating so hard trying to find it. Corners into Sekou Mara. And it might be loose. And it's cleared away. Marcus Leonardo finds Elliot Cole. And Cole does well. Mara. Gomez. St Maximan looking to burst through. Angel Gomez has his shot blocked, and that's going to do it. Ah, man, just too many draws in the Premier League and too many games like this where we fail to find the breakthrough. A 0-0 draw against a side that we should be beating 9 times out of 10, if not 10. Leeds claim the point, but that allows the other teams to keep their 100% record going. And It's just been the story of the last couple of years. We cannot turn these draws into victories. And a few more bids here is Will Smallbone wanted by Ipswich, but we need him for our squad registration rules. PSG want to take Ian Martson and have offered us Lisandro Martinez, but again, Ian's staying here. Roma this time wanting Stein, and Bayer Leverkusen wanting Tino Livramento. But as I've said, I'm not looking to sell anybody between now and the end of the summer transfer window, as I think the draw for the Champions League should be made shortly. Few more bids coming in here. Van Dijk wanted by Arsenal. Vaughan again wanted. He's been highly sought after. And Bilbao going after the Kosovan Aro Muric. No Baskin Muric. Well, we are into deadline day here, but I don't think we're going to be making any moves, as Nathan Teller's rumoured to be joining Palace. Van Dijk, we've got a bid from West Ham and another bid for Kai Vaughan. But again, I'm just going to skip through all of this, guys. Do you know what? I quite like that bid. Nathan Teller wanted by Crystal Palace, but he's homegrown, so I'm going to keep him here. And I used Raksaki last year in my Crystal Palace career mode. So yeah, I think we're just going to skip through deadline day pretty quickly. We've got around £24 million left in the budget, but I'm just going to carry that through to January. Well, final hour of deadline day as we get another bid for Kai Vaughan. We've had so many for him this summer, but yeah, we'll sim through the final 1 hour. Biggest deals of deadline day. Fede Valverde leaving Chelsea to join AC Milan. That's good news for us. Regen Kramer leaving FC Twente to join Lyon. And Evan Ferguson leaving Bayer Leverkusen to join Atalanta. So that will do it for the final hour of deadline day. And I believe as we sim through the international break, we should see the draw at some point for the Champions League phase. Well, we have seen the draw for the Champions League, and I really do miss the old animation that you got in the news article. I do like the new sort of social media, but I miss the news articles. But anyway, we'll be taking on Sturm Graz away from home, alongside Milan away at the San Siro in September. In October, we will travel to the Metropolitano to take on Atletico Madrid, and Red Bull Salzburg away in Austria. In November, we play host to Slavia Prague, and in December, it's Ajax at St Mary's, before closing out in January with 2 games at home as we host Lazio and RB Leipzig in the final 2 league phase games of the season. We've also been drawn against Brighton and Hove Albion at home in the Carabao Cup third round, where with the amount of depth we've got this season, I would like to go on a good run and potentially make it past the quarterfinals, which is the furthest we've made it so far in the save. But jumping into our next game, I think we will close out with this one away at the City Ground as we take on Nottingham Forest, looking to pick up 3 points after we dropped 2 at Ellen Road. Come on, you Saints. Yeah, we won here last year by, I think, was it 4 goals to nil or 5 goals to nil? I can't remember exactly, but yeah, we've got to make sure that we return to winning ways. It's really poor rainy conditions once again, so yeah, no more slip-ups. I'll allow it once against Leeds as they're a bit of a bogey team, but yeah, got to get back to winning ways here to close out the episode on a positive. Good football from Forest. Taylor gets his pass away from our Taylor, and the shot nearly caught Muric out as he has to turn it away. Not the most convincing of saves, but he got something on it, which is the most important thing, as we get a little bit lucky there as well. And Muric just telling everyone to calm down, but I think it's him that needs to calm down. Yusuf needs a teammate and finds Eduardo Camavinga through the gap. And there's Yusuf and Diashime. Probably not the man you'd want it to fall to there. He did get the shot away and forced the stop from the keeper as Chibi does well. No foul. Marcus Leonardo. That's the man you want it to fall to. The Brazilian makes it 3 in as many games. And after Yusuf was denied, the Brazilian makes no mistake. Yeah, good to see Shaibi get the assist for our goal as well. He got a handful last year despite having an injury-hit campaign, but still yet to score for the club. But getting the start today in place of Sem Stein, who's sat on the bench. Still we lead by just 1. I'd like a second goal just to secure this. As Martin finds Marcus Leonardo. That was a lovely move. But the Brazilian this time denied. Gonna make a few changes in a moment, but would love that second goal as Yusuf's header is saved at point blank range, and we just cannot grab the second as Kudus now has it. Kudus finds Chaibi, and there's Camavinga, and Gordon gets his first for his new club. And it's a brilliant strike as well. That will surely seal it as Anthony Gordon gets his first goal since his summer move from Newcastle. And the Saints are set for another 3 points. Well, that's going to do it. And it is a comfortable win in the end for Southampton. Anthony Gordon's goal to seal the game, his first for the club, and as soon as the second went in, the pressure just eased because we don't concede many. So once we know we've gone 2 goals up, it's very unlikely that teams are going to peg us back. Gordon with his first for Southampton, and a great way to close out today's episode. Well, that will do it for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Liverpool sit top of the table, the only team to have won 4 from 4. Spurs have the same record as ourselves and are yet to concede a goal in their opening 4, whilst Manchester City and Chelsea both with a draw and a defeat on the board already. So early work to be done in the Premier League as we look to set the pace at the top of the Premier League table. We'll be back in the next one with more big games as we head into September and October now that we're through the January window, including the Carabao Cup as we take on Brighton at St Mary's and our first few fixtures in the Champions League as well. I hope you guys have enjoyed today, and I'll catch you for that next episode very soon. Take care and peace.